Hey everybody, Jeff Marr with Elizabeth School District. Joining me is Superintendent Dan Snowberger, and happy summer to
Yeah,
you.
thank you. It's been a busy one, but a good one nonetheless.
Yeah, so it is July, so we are officially in the new school year of 2025-2026. On our calendar, that starts on July 1st,
Right.
so here we are.
Yep. It's been a busy summer, and again, looking forward to a great school year ahead.
And we ended last school year in the communications department on a positive note. I just wanted to point that out with these awards back here. This is from COSPRA, which is the Colorado School Public Relations Association, and Elizabeth School District is a part of that, along with dozens of other school districts across the state. So every year they have an award ceremony for various content related items, and we were able to take home 3 awards. One of them for this podcast, best podcast, that'd be the Superintendent Monthly Review. Best e-newsletter, it's the Good News Bulletin that I put out on a weekly basis during the school year. And then best social media page, that's the ESD Facebook page. So I was proud to bring these back to Elizabeth School District from Breckenridge. And it's just a real honor
Yep.
to be able to create
Absolutely.
content. And thank you to my colleagues at COSPRA for the
Yeah.
recognition.
Well, congratulations, Jeff. That was
Thank
a
you.
lot of hard work on your part too. So
Yeah, I have a lot
appreciate
of
that.
fun with it, and I'm looking forward to all that is going to come with this school year and all the stories that we're going to tell and the content that we're going to share out. So
Hmm.
stay tuned for all of that. Also, I wanted to point out something that we've been busy with and has to do with marketing the school district. So you may have seen these signs around town. They are certainly up at all of our schools, and you're also going to see these in new developments, including Independence. And what this is it's directing people to our summer registration office, which is open now. So any families that are interested in registration and enrollment, they can come to our office here at Elizabeth School District headquarters and get their students registered. And we've already had quite a few
Yeah,
inquiries.
absolutely. Yeah, it's been a busy summer with that too. So
Yeah.
we realized last year that we didn't offer summer enrollment, and so we
Yeah.
changed that for this year. So we're excited about that.
So it has been busy here, and it's also going to be a busy school year, especially with some of the initiatives that we are rolling out. And the first one that I wanted to talk to you about is explicit direct instruction. You actually covered this topic during a previous Superintendent Monthly Review, but we want to dive deeper into it because it's a big deal. It's going to affect the way that students are taught
Yep.
here in our school district.
Yep.
It's going to be a change, but based on the data, a change for the better,
For the
especially as
better.
it results in test scores.
Absolutely. It's sad because our public education system has shifted to training teachers to facilitate learning, to take a less active role, to not be the sage on the stage used to be the statement, but to take a back seat and let students do productive struggle and engage in content and kind of muddle through. And clearly research is showing that's not working. We've seen our decline in the nation of our performance. 40% of kids in the country can read on grade level. We outperform that a little bit, but we still believe we can do better. And so we definitely feel strongly that we've got to get back to the way that I learned and the way that you learned and the way that many of our parents learned in classrooms, where they were actively engaged in the classroom from the beginning of the bell to the end of the bell. And that students weren't passive learners. They weren't able to disengage, but they actively were engaged. I think of the clip, the Ferris Bueller clip, which is a famous
Mm-hmm.
clip where the teacher's, anyone, and he's reading and he's asking kids to chime in, and they're all kind of drooling and
Yeah.
zoned out. That's not working, and direct explicit instruction happens in many of our classrooms, but not in all. And so, really wanting to make sure that we start the year with some strong training for our teachers, that our lessons for the coming year, that kids are engaged from the beginning of the class period to the end. Kids don't come to school to relax and goof off. They come to school to learn, and we want to make sure that the kids are on grade level with our new expectation that children need to be able to read close to grade level before they leave elementary school. We can't have children leaving elementary school 2 or more grade levels below in reading. And so it's really important that we step up our instruction. We support our teachers
Mm-hmm.
in doing so. Again, none of our teachers came to work saying, I'm not going to do a phenomenal job. Every one of them is committed to doing so, and we just need to support them in some new strategies, in many cases, to make sure our kids are engaged. So we're going to do a little more coming up on a series of some videos that we'll be sharing that outside of our Superintendent Monthly Review that will really provide some more detail and even have an interview with our consultant, Zach Rochelle, who is going to be working with us here in the district. So we're excited about that, and we hope you'll look forward to seeing that in the coming weeks.
Yes. So we're going to be releasing several videos, including that interview with Zach, who is going to go into detail about exactly what you can expect to see with that model in our classrooms here in Elizabeth School District, and more content to come on that, because we want to make sure that parents have full understanding of exactly what that looks like in the classroom. So stay tuned for that. We also wanted to ask you about the dyslexia program, another topic
Yep.
that you covered last year in detail during your many communications,
Yep.
and also the superintendent monthly review. And this is something I know you're really excited about.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've hired a literacy specialist in the district who is a quality instructor for Take Flight Therapy, which is a Scottish Rite Hospital produced program for children with dyslexia. It has great success in moving children. We have so many children who plateau out at the second or third grade reading level, and they go on to middle school and they're struggling at that second or third grade reading level. Um, 9 times out of 10, that's a dyslexia challenge. 1 in 5
Mm-hmm.
children in the nation have some form of dyslexia. Some are minor forms and are overcome with just good instruction. Others need direct instruction in a different manner to help them overcome that decoding. We look at words, most of us look at words and we know what they are and we can decode them and we can read them. But for a child who's dyslexic, they look at macaroni and cheese on the page.
Mm-hmm.
They can't decipher it. They can't make sense of it. And that's really just a matter of how a dyslexic mind thinks and the way the dyslexic mind processes information. And so, take flight therapy is something that we're really excited to be offering at both elementary schools and our middle school this coming year, to help close the gap for our children. We had some pilot groups this year that we just saw some amazing growth, even without 5 days a week. We were only able to do a couple days a week last year, but we saw students who gained confidence in their reading, who excelled multiple grade levels in a very short period of time. And so we know this is going to be successful. Our literacy specialist, Cindy Kanyu, is beginning next week training 5 staff members in our district to become certified academic language therapists. They will have the detailed in-depth training. This is master's level training that these teachers will receive to do take flight instruction next year. So we're going to maximize the number of groups we're going to be able to serve and the number of children. And parents, we're going to be talking to you. Obviously, we won't be serving your child without your knowing. We don't need a dyslexia diagnosis. We can diagnose the dyslexic-like tendencies that children are exhibiting in their reading. And this program is one that we believe within a year or two we can remediate that, close the gap, and get them back on grade level. And so we're
Good.
really excited about it, and excited as a district to be able to offer that type of therapy. Many parents, unfortunately, across the state are paying lots of money per hour to have their children go through this therapy, and we're excited to integrate it into our district at no cost to our families.
Yes, and we're going to continue to communicate how that program advances throughout the school year. So keep it right here to the Superintendent Monthly Review for details on how the students are receiving it, as well as the instructors are giving it. And we'll have a lot more for you on that as the school year approaches. The other thing we wanted to talk about is something when you're a superintendent and a chief financial officer, when you work at the district office, things get really busy towards the end of the year. And especially in June as you reach July 1st, because it has to do with the budget and organizing how next year's budget looks. And you have some good news to report on
Yeah,
that.
we have been 2 years ago when I came to the district, the board and I committed to increasing our fund balance. This district has operated with a 5% fund balance, 3% just our state required reserves, call them TABOR reserves, and 2% for district reserves. That provides very little of a financial cushion in the case of a crisis, like a boiler goes out or a well pump goes out, or
Mm-hmm.
things that we've seen, unfortunately, during
Yeah.
my time here in Elizabeth. And so we passed a policy 2 years ago to increase to 10% by the 2028 school year. And we're excited that this year we're actually ended the year at 8% fund balance. And so we
Mm-hmm.
went from 5 to 8 in the last year and a half. And so continuing to work on being careful about how we're spending money, being careful about making sure that we do put some money away for that emergency fund. Our state has had some funding issues, and in the past, sometimes the state has balanced their budget on the backs of public schools. That could mean that next year we could be cut money, and we want to make sure that that doesn't lead us to cut important programs that are important to our
Right.
kids. And so, fund balance is a big deal, and we're
Hmm.
excited. Our board's extremely excited about the accomplishment, and we have 2 more years to get to 10%, and we're certainly on track.
So for those who don't know, when you say 8% fund
Yep.
balance, what does that mean exactly?
8% means 8% of your expenses. So we need to make sure that in the bank, in the savings account, if you will,
Hmm.
8% of what we've spent this year sits there untouched, meaning that,
Hmm.
if you have that unexpected expense, it's about 2.5 to $2.8 million right now is
Hmm.
what this district has in a reserve, estimated at the end of last school year. And so that's a lot better than a million, because again,
Right.
the state comes in and says, we're not funding you $1.5 million next year that you were expecting. You've got to have it, or you have to make major cuts. And we want to make sure that some of the programs that our community values continue to be protected even in a financial
So
crisis.
just like families at home have a rainy day fund
Absolutely.
in case a heater or air conditioning unit goes out, something really expensive,
Yeah.
or there's water damage or roof damage from hail.
Yep.
That's what the school district has. And is the goal to potentially carry that over to future
Absolutely.
years if we don't touch it?
Well, and continue to build upon it. So
Right.
again, 10%, I'll be honest with you, 10% is a low number. I've always tried to focus on 15%, but when you're at two, getting to 10 is important. So that's our first goal. And I think, again, for our community's sake, it's not a matter of keeping money that we should be spending on kids. It's a matter of setting aside small amounts of money that over time builds up and allows us to really be able to, again, protect from major cuts in funding or major unexpected
Right.
expenses.
And speaking of expenses, that brings us to the next topic. It has to do with summer projects. So, some of those summer projects and the work that our facilities and maintenance team has been undergoing and have been pretty busy with, painting at Elizabeth Middle School. And that's part of the 2.0 rollout plan, is that when kids and teachers come back to school, they'll notice new paint and a new
A
structure,
whole new feel,
a
a
whole
whole
new
new feel
feel
of the
of that
building.
middle school. Same goes for the parking lot,
Yeah.
where there's been some trouble spots that are going to be
Hmm.
fixed.
Yeah, we're working on a lot of deferred maintenance, so things that really have been gradually over time getting worse and worse. And so, obviously, painting schools seems like, oh, that's not a big deal. It really is. When you walk into a school and it's brighter, and you don't feel like it's dark and dingy.
Mm-hmm.
It changes your feel, it changes your attitude. And so we're
Yeah.
excited about that. At the middle school, Tam Smith, our new principal there, has really been working all summer on shifting offices, cleaning out old materials that are in the way, making sure that we maximize the space for kids, moving kids into grade level pods so there's more of that team atmosphere amongst our different grade levels, and really create that atmosphere for our students. And so we're really
Mm-hmm.
excited about that. We also we are partnering with our town and the fire department and sharing our fuel. We have been the only ones here in the Elizabeth area that have tax-free fuel that we purchase as a tax exempt entity. We don't have to pay taxes on fuel, so that saves us money. Our town and our fire department have been dealing with their own fuel challenges, and sometimes having to use our local businesses and then wait for taxes to be refunded and things like that. We've entered into a partnership with them. So our fire department and our police department and our town vehicles are now refueling at our bus barn, and obviously paying for the fuel that they use. But that joint partnership really opens up a lot of opportunities. We have done some crushed asphalt in our bus lot. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of buses who come in and out of there, and now fire trucks and police cars. And so this summer we've also asphalted the parking lot. It's not hot asphalt like you would have in a regular store parking lot, but it is asphalt that creates a solid foundation that prevents mud puddles and prevents all of that mess that we've been dealing with for years. So that's been a major improvement. Continue to work on our water wells, continue to work on different facets in the district. Again, the district has A lot of deferred maintenance that people think, oh, the summer is a time to relax. No, not for our maintenance teams, not for our custodians.
Mm.
We have a lot of work underway and just trying to improve some of the facilities. We have a lot of things that need to be improved that won't be touched this year,
Mhm.
but that fund balance is going to be really important to make sure that we have the dollars down the road. This year we set aside $800,000 or $880,000 into our capital improvement fund, and that's how we're paying for many of these projects that are needing to be improved. We have new scoreboards going in at the high school. That's due to a CHASA rule change that requires shot clocks. That had to be done this summer. And again, really trying to set up structures to make sure that all of this maintenance cannot just be deferred again for another 20 years, but can be kept up with on a regular basis.
Yep. So we're staying on top of it, and same goes for the safety and security team. There's some new security changes that you'll see, including a new SRO, which will be positioned at Elizabeth Middle School. And there's also going to be an SRO, there's going to be a specialist that we hired as well.
Yeah.
That's at Singing
Yeah.
Hills, correct?
Right. We've replaced the specialist who left us at Singing Hills. And so we have 125 years of experience on our safety and security team. That's
Mhm.
pretty impressive for a district our size. These are not just people who we've trained to be security specialists. These are former police officers, former military. These are individuals whose living was protecting and defending important things, and now they are protecting and defending our students and our
Right.
staff. And so we're really proud of that work. The town of Elizabeth last year, we lost a school resource officer who resigned her position. And filling that has been a challenge, just like in Elizabeth, where we pay a little less than our neighboring districts. Unfortunately, our police department, our town funding faces the same challenge. Our police officers are compensated less than some of their colleagues in neighboring jurisdictions. And so we are excited that Chief Engel, our police chief in Elizabeth, who I can't say enough great things about, assisted us in prioritizing getting another SRO this year. And we interviewed yesterday. We're hoping to finalize that, but we are very confident that we're going to have that second SRO who will be stationed at Elizabeth Middle School. So we'll have one at the high school and one at the middle school. Now, those school resource officers support other schools if they need it. Running Creek, any school that's in the town limits, they're able to support. And so that's a really important role. But having them housed at those schools, ensuring the safety of those campuses are really important to us.
So we're looking forward to that. And of course, just continuing what we've been doing here at the school district, providing that level of security and deterrence, and also the relationship that these specialists and SROs have with the students. That's also a really important factor.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they're not just hired guns.
Yeah.
They're there to build relationships, to make sure that students feel safe, that students feel comfortable sharing information with them. It's really important, parents, that it takes all of us to secure our schools. And so Safe to Tell, we've talked about in the past. Safe to Tell is a great resource for you as parents, for your students. If they see something, hear something, are concerned about something, report it. No Safe to Tell goes unchecked. No Safe to Tell goes unlooked at. Police look at it. We look at it. Our school administrators look at it. We investigate. So really, it's important that we're all together. Sadly, so many of the major school shootings and school events in the past that have caused to bad things happening in schools, sometimes people knew about it and they were afraid to tell. And
Right.
so I think as we start the school year with our new safety and security team members, really want to encourage parents to talk with their students about it is okay to share concerns. You don't have to be 100% sure on it. Share what you know. Let us look into it. It never hurts to look into something and find it wasn't a concern, or it wasn't a threat. I'd rather look into it and know that it wasn't than to ignore it and find out that it could have been.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing we want to point out is that, yes, we're in July, and so August is fast approaching. That means the start of school, and I'm sure you're looking forward to welcoming everybody back.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there'll be dates. If you check your school websites, there'll be dates for re-registration, for parents to come in, for kids to come in, to get your schedules, to talk with counselors, to make sure that we've connected before the start of the school year. So please watch for those dates. They're coming up really fast. Teachers
Yes.
come back on August 6th, which seems like right around the corner. And so really excited to welcome our new staff, our existing staff, and obviously all of our students.
And speaking of the website, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about is that we did create a new website. It's going to be the same URL, so it's elizabethschooldistrict.org. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, feel free to do so. I think you'll find that it has a sharper, cleaner look than the last one. A lot of the same pages exist there. We've added a few new pages, but hopefully you'll find that the navigation is easy to get to the resources that you are looking for. I've worked closely with our technology director, Marty Silva, in developing this. This has really been a project that we've focused on throughout the whole year. And so we launched that at the end of June. And just know that if you do find some pages that are not there or some broken links, that's normal as part of the migration process. And to just feel free to email myself if you're having any trouble with the navigation or if you find anything that needs to be fixed. We're going to be looking at that as kind of an ongoing process over the next few weeks leading up to the start of the school year. So
always important that we stay in touch and that
yeah.
we keep those lines of communication open, and the website's important. And Jeff, thanks for your hard work on that.
Sure.
Jeff has been spending countless hours testing those links and making sure
Yes.
he's identifying any broken links. But again, any help you can provide, if you find something that doesn't seem right, let us know so that we can make sure we get on it.
elizabethschooldistrict.org. Keep your eyes to that and our social media. And we will be back in August with another Superintendent Monthly Review. It was great to check in with you this summer. Dan, thanks for
Yep.
talking to us.
Happy summer. Hopefully you enjoy the last few weeks you
Yes.
have, and wish you well, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, we will see you next time.